Well, hello, everybody. Welcome into a Friday edition, our pre-show here at Computer America. Yes, it's Friday, and we have a terrific show planned for you. It is the second Friday of the month, and that means Ralph Bond from Autodesk is going to be joining us for both hours. And if you're no stranger to the show, Ralph Bond is one of our correspondents who appears here on a regular basis, and he finds some really terrific stories and products and things that we talk about, and it's going to be a really fun show. Also, since it's Friday, that means we're going to have our social media winner of the week. That's right. Someone's going to be winning that Logitech M535 wireless mouse as our grand prize. You need to stay tuned because it looks like we're going to be having an additional contest in addition to the Logitech contest. We'll tell you more about that when it comes to reality, but stand by for that. Anyhow, as I said, it's Friday. We're going to start Computer America, so sit back, relax, enjoy 2 hours of the Computer America show coming at you right here. Oh, by the way, Ben's not here today. I forgot to mention. Ben won't be here today.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America show. It's the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman. And I'm your co-host, Ben. Oh, hey, Ben. I don't think I could pull it off for the entire show. No. How about, and I'm your co-host, Ben? No, that won't work either. No, Ben is not going to be here with us on today's show. Aww. I know. He has some things to do. We're doing our move back to North Carolina, and he's going to be doing that on the weekend. And when he gets back on the show on Monday, he will actually be back in our North Carolina location starting Monday. But in the meantime, it's just going to be you, me, and my guest. So, and again, let me just say this: it's Friday. Yes, Friday is upon us. The weekend is upon us, and that means we're going to have our social media winner of the week prize. We give away that Logitech M535 Bluetooth wireless mouse valued at $40. Some lucky person is going to be winning that. We'll give it away in the second hour of the show. Now, I think at this point, as I mentioned, our show today, again, we're going to have with us our correspondent, Ralph Bond from Autodesk is here to talk about all the cool things that he finds on the internet. So Ralph Bond for both hours. All right, so before I introduce him and bring him on the show, let me just give you the numbers to call. It's 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. If you have a question but you don't want to go on the air, you can send us a message. Just head over to any page at ComputerAmerica.com. On the upper right-hand corner of any page there, it says Submit a Question. It's a link. Just click it. It'll take you to a question submission page. You can type in your question, hit the Submit button, and I will see what you've typed immediately. Okay, it's a great way to communicate with us. And the other thing that we do, of course, is our live video stream. Yes, we are a radio broadcast, but also we provide live video for you to watch. Now, normally, Ben has the technology to display the websites, movies, videos, and links, but he's not here with us. But you will be able to see Ralph. Ralph is streaming live, so you'll get to see his smiling face. And I'll tell you what, let me just bring him on the show, and then I'll tell you all the other things that you can do, like the cheat notes and everything. Let's. I think we should just get him on the show. Okay, so yes, he's back. Bond is back, and we've got him, and it's all Bond on today's show. Yes. Of course, I'm talking about Ralph Bond. Ralph Bond is a correspondent to the Computer America show. Now, he's the author of Family Computer Fun, Digital Ideas Using Your Photos, Movies, and Music. That's published by Q Publishing. He's also the co-author of the PC Dad's Guide to Becoming a Computer Smart Parent, published by Dell Publishing. Ralph was Intel's consumer education manager for more than 10 years. 10 years, can you believe that? And for nearly the past 8.5 years, he's been a part of Autodesk's communications team, and he's having a good time. Ralph, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm doing great. Always so much fun to be with you and the audience, and we've got a great show lined up for today.
Yes, we do. Now, let me just let you know that although Ben isn't here today, you still can see everything we're talking about, and I'll tell you how you do that. Ralph takes the time to construct what we call cheat notes, okay? And you can see these. It's very simple. Head over to computeramerica.com. Right there, you'll see, when you go there, you'll see Ralph's picture. You'll see today's show. You click on that, and you'll see a description of the show, a link to the video, but also there in the description, you'll see something that says cheat notes. It's you can't miss it. They're large red letters. Click on that, and that'll open up a Google Docs document that will display everything that we're talking about on today's show. I'm talking about description, the actual parts of the article, photographs, images, as well as links to the show as well. So you can see everything as well as listening to the show. So you can still be quite interactive using Ralph's show notes. And again, we make those available at computeramerica.com. If you're listening to the program via the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Blog Talk Radio Network description of Computer America, you'll see it's there too. It says cheat notes. Just click it, and it'll open up the Google Docs document so you can see everything there as well. So still plenty of ways for you to interact and participate with the show. So you have the phone lines, 347-884-8881, and of course the question link that we have at our website, and of course the cheat notes. So all different things that you can see. So before we get started, I understand you've been having some pretty radical weather up there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So what is it? El Nino. I never can get those two right, but we've been going through that on the West Coast.
Uh-huh.
Many of the listeners, of course, who live on this side of the country know all about it. And so we had the wettest winter rain period on record. Now, if you go to the Northwest, you have to stop and think to yourself, wait a minute, say that again, Ralph. The wettest on record winter ever. Then we have the weirdest spring ever. Because I was telling Craig before the show that only a few days ago, it was nearly 100 degrees. And in fact, in a couple parts of the metro Portland, Oregon area, it did hit 100 degrees. And today it's like, I don't know, 58 or something. What? In a couple of days, it's sort of like the stock market. This is the most ridiculous gyration roller coaster thing. Wow. I don't know. I hope it is just this El Nino, whatever thing.
Well, you think
it's not global warming. I don't know.
Well, the weather is okay there now, so that's nice.
Oh, it's lovely now. Now it's back to what it should be for this time of year, early June-ish time frame. Of course, our summer's in July and August. We can get up there in the low to mid 90s, and that's not weird or unusual. But my goodness, and this wasn't the first heat wave we had in the spring. We had a couple more before this, not quite as bad, but for us in this part of the country was like, what the heck is going on? And all of our crops, our strawberry crops, other things are just coming in so much sooner. It's good and bad for the farm people too. So crazy world.
Yeah. No, there you go. It is, but most of the country has been experiencing. I mean, look what happened in Paris. I mean, the floods.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So there's been extreme weather conditions I think, around parts of the world, and the fires in Canada, hasn't been good either.
Oh, that stuff in Canada, that is and in Australia, remember not too long ago, they had terrible fire situation down there too.
Well, hopefully it'll all settle down. It seems.
Well, I don't know. I don't know anymore. Craig, it's like politics. I don't get it anymore. Weather, I don't get it anymore.
How about movies?
Just don't get it. Now, movies, I get.
All right, movies. Okay, so it's Friday, and before we get started,
yes.
how is your movie?
Well, yeah, but my latest movie, and I was talking to Craig before the show, and I said, "Hey, Craig, have you ever seen Will Smith in the movie Concussion?" And he said, "No, I haven't seen it." I loved it. And I did a little more research, and I found out a lot of the critics had mixed reviews about it. So I don't care. I thought his performance was spectacular. Anyway, a little bit about the story. It's all about this forensic pathologist, a guy named Dr. Bennett Umalu, who I think it comes from Africa to the United States. And I think he came from Nigeria, if I remember the story. Yeah. And he performs an autopsy on former NFL football player Mike Webster. And he discovers a neurological deterioration, and I'm reading some notes here I picked up, that is similar to Alzheimer's disease. Now, Umalo, the character that Will Smith plays, and he plays him beautifully. I mean, you completely forget you're looking at Will Smith. You absolutely believe he's this person, this doctor. Anyway, Umalo names the disorder, I'm going to try this now, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Ugh, I can't say it. Encephalopathy.
Okay.
Anyway, and he publishes his findings in a medical journal, and the movie's all about his campaign to raise awareness, to try to just get the, and of course, at the time period, this is like, gosh, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago or something. I've forgotten the time period, but the NFL was not at all amused by the idea of this publicity about head injuries to football players, leaving a lasting, damaging, debilitating impact on players.
Fighting, it's the same thing. People,
yeah, you're right. Exactly right. Yeah. And so it's just a great film. I thought Will Smith did a spectacular job. I liked all the other characters. Some of the critics said it didn't really follow the truth of the story as much as it could have. I get that. I understand that. But if you're looking for an interesting and engaging film with great acting, I highly recommend Will Smith in Concussion.
And since we're talking about movies, of course, today is the release of the Blizzard's Warcraft movie.
Ooh, yeah.
I know Ben is going to see that. He's not going to just get to see it today, but he is going to see it in the next week or so.
Cool.
I'm going to go to see that. And I saw the Captain America Civil War a couple of weeks ago, and then I've also seen the latest X-Men movie, Apocalypse. So those two are really, they're still in theater.
You're always way ahead of me on the movies because you have a life. You go to the movie theater.
Yeah. Well,
I'm kind of just, I don't know. I'm lazy. I wait until stuff comes out on Netflix, or I can just get it at the Red Box.
Ben made a point. There are some times when you want to see a movie in the theater because the reaction of the audience to what you're seeing also adds to the movie. He mentioned Deadpool.
Have you seen that? Because
no, I have not. I regret not seeing it in the theater, but I haven't. I will see it when it comes on pay-per-view or something. But the one thing that he did say is that people were laughing and making such noises that he actually missed some of the dialogue. So because so that can work against you as well. So I mean, I do enjoy going out to the movies every once in a while, and I enjoy going out for dinner and or eating out. So some people can just be. I know I mean, a lot of people just like staying home, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm pretty much like that too, except I do like to go out, and eat every once in a while. So.
Yeah. Well, just a couple more things about our lifestyles. Yeah. When I review products on Amazon.com, my handle is Home Theater Hermit. If you ever wonder who's that guy, his ridiculous opinions. Anyway, but I do have a 108-inch diagonal screen, not a flat panel. It's a pull down screen with my overhead projector. My current projector is a 1080p, and it's very nice. Boy, would I love two things. I would love to have an LED based, ultra high def projector.
Sure.
Oh my, that would be ultimate.
And prices are coming down.
You bet.
We're seeing more and more of this. We have an older Sony in our Carolinas. We have an older Sony projection TV, and it's just basically going on the fritz. And so it's get rid of that. And we're getting a 65-inch flat screen to put in that should do a nice job. So we're going to be adding that.
Cool. You're going ultra high def, I would presume.
Yes, it's 4K ultra high definition, but we will. We'll be reviewing that TV as well when we get that in place. So a lot of cool things on the horizon for your family, for my family, and
absolutely,
we're getting ready to do some moves. And here, I explained. So hopefully, life will get back to some sense of normalcy. Yeah.
Well, there's three things in life. Well, wait a minute, 4 things in life that'll really just drive you nuts. Okay, death, taxes, remodeling, and moving. Those are the things that are, put marriages to the test.
It will. You're right. So anyhow, and 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 moving, as you mentioned, can be extremely stressful. I don't know how people they do this. These are snowbirds, and they'll live here and they'll go down there, but it can be it's not as fun as you would think it would be. Especially maintaining two homes. It's a lot of work, and
Oh yeah.
I think it's time that we just basically pick one home and
Yeah. Well, you're doing the right thing. You really are. It's a smart move, and I'm glad we just have this one property where I am. I'm really happy about that. Although we still have a home that was our home in Southern California many, many years ago that's a rental, but we've been contemplating maybe selling that property, so we just don't have any of the landlord and maintenance issues.
I don't know how you put up with that. Yeah, I don't know how you put up. So I just want to be free of that. I just one place, and then when we can travel, and the point is, then you rent a place, or you go to a hotel, you rent a resort, and you just enjoy that, and then if you want to get away for a while. And I'm sure when we're in the Carolinas, probably in the winter months, we'll probably want to get away for 2 months or something. We'll find a nice spot, and
there you go.
And that's it.
You don't have to own it. You just have to go to it.
Nope. Yeah, exactly. All right. So anyhow, we're going to start doing this, our cheat notes here. And we'll start up with this first one. When I read this, I went, how is this possible? All right.
Fascinating. Isn't it something?
And let me just kind of set this up. Yep. I mean, you have a smartphone. Some of these smartphones have, like the iPhone has the force detection. So when you press down on the screen, you can get it to do many things. But that's hardware. It's built into it, and the phone has to have that technology. Also, you would think, but evidently, according to this first story, someone's figured out a way via a simple software update that lets any smartphone detect not only forceful touches, but squeezes as well. How is this possible?
Oh, yeah. This was #1 story, and I knew you'd love it, Craig. And I think everybody that's listening is going to get a big kick out of this, too. So it comes from Gizmodo magazine, story by Andrew Luzeski. And the title is "A Simple Software Update Lets Any Smartphone Detect Squeezes and Forceful Touches." And you might think, well, am I going to get kind of inappropriate with my smartphone? What is the deal here? Hang on, we'll explain. So it says here, Apple made a big deal about the advanced technology it developed to facilitate the 3D touch feature on the iPhone 6S, which you alluded to, Craig. But engineers at the University of Michigan have not only recreated the feature such that it can work on any smartphone, they've also improved it. So they're taking it a step further, right? Improved it by enabling phones to detect when they're being squeezed too. And you think, my first thought from an electromechanical, physical engineering kind of point of view was, what? How does that happen? So clever. You're going to love this. So how can additional interactive features be added to any smartphone without adding sensors or upgrading its hardware in any way? Force phone. This is what these researchers called it. Again, University of Michigan, salute to those guys. Force phone is a piece of software that simply relies on two of your smartphone's standard features: its speaker and microphone. And at first I went, what? Check this out. The software causes the phone to constantly emit 18 kilohertz tone, which humans can't hear, but the phone's microphone can. As the user presses on the touchscreen or squeezes the phone's housing, the force of the interaction on the smartphone alters the sound of the 18 kilohertz tone. Wow. The software detects the difference and translates the force into commands. So it's like a lookup table, Craig, in programming. So the amount of squeeze or the amount of pressure impacting the tone, changing in the tone goes to a certain level. Lookup table says, oh, that means the user wants to do X, and correspondingly up and down a scale, as it were, right?
Yeah. Now, Ralph, let me just ask you this. I'm trying to use something to screen share. Are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm seeing the show notes. You got it.
Excellent. Okay, so at least so you can see if you don't have not downloaded the show notes, I can at least play it on Google Hangouts so you can actually see the show notes. Okay,
You're
good.
doing a great Ben job. Although I don't know, maybe you could even show the videos. We could do it. We don't need Ben.
Yeah.
No, Ben, we love you. Anyway, so again, the software detects the difference and translates the force, touch, or squeeze into commands. The force phone software works a bit like a submarine sonar, but instead of hunting for other underwater vessels or obstacles, it's using the subtle changes in sound to allow users to interact with their phones in new ways. I just love the cleverness of this.
I think it's really amazing.
I mean, yeah. It just blows my mind. It goes on to say, imagine unlocking your handset with a specific pattern of squeezes as you remove it from your pocket. So wouldn't this be great? You could just pull out your smartphone and give it 2 squeezes if you want to, I don't know, text message, or 3 squeezes if you want to take a picture, or whatever. You can imagine all kinds of possibilities. And the other thing it says is, or upgrading your iPhone 4 to match the capabilities of the 6S with nothing but a free firmware update. Now it concludes, for now, this is just a research project, but 3D touch and squeeze detection could one day be a standard feature on every smartphone. And I embedded in the show notes, and as Craig is showing everybody who's watching us on the Google feed here, there's a great little video here showing some of the researchers talking about that. And I encourage you to go and check that video out because that's very compelling as well. So salute to the University of Michigan for coming up with this elegant, brilliant, incredible idea that just uses this microphone and the speaker of your handset, boom, and away you go. I love it.
Yeah, that is truly amazing. And again, you can see the picture there of the person with squeeze. Actually, as they squeeze the phone, that thing compresses. It's like a hand.
I know, isn't that weird?
Yeah. So I can't show you the movie, but you can certainly, the links are there on the show notes.
Yeah,
for yourself.
Check it out. Get those show notes, folks.
Yeah. Because
even after the show, you could go back and kind of go, oh, look at that video, or check this out. It's so much fun.
It is. All right. Well, this next story now is we have been talking about this for quite some time. Bendable smartphones, bendable, and I know LG, I know Samsung are very close to release it. But this story, it takes place here, and they're saying that this bendable smartphone is about to hit the markets, but there's a catch to it. What's the catch?
Yeah, no pun intended with the bracelet-like catch. I get it, Craig. Very smart. I'll give you that credit, even if that's not what you were thinking.
Exactly.
Okay, so this story comes from CNN Money, story by Sophia Yan. And the headline is simply, this bendable smartphone comes with a catch, as Craig just said a moment ago. If you have the show notes, you got the link, and you have the pictures too. But here's the story. A small Chinese startup says it's about to unveil a smartphone that can bend all the way around your wrist. Now, the device produced by and it's pronounced Mushi Group, produced by the Mushi Group, will feature a flexible touch screen that still works when looped and worn like a watch or a bracelet, according to the company. That's the part that's really incredibly cool. And my mind is already just racing with all kinds of other things in smartphones, like maybe a quarterback's playlist, or fire and police people. Anyway, I digress. It says it also functions stretched flat like any other smartphone. The bendy screen uses, gee, no surprise, the material of this century so far, graphene, the thinnest material in the world that's also strong, light, transparent, and flexible. Moshi says it has already produced a prototype of the phone and plans to put 100,000 units on sale in China by the end of this year. It's an impressive feat of innovation if the company pulls it off. No other company is known to have brought a fully bendable smartphone to the market. So, Craig, you were mentioning other companies with flexible phones, but aren't those, they kind of just flex to the shape of your face? They're not this full wraparound bit yet, right?
Well, the one that they have that, but they also had one that would fold.
Like almost like a little book or something.
a little book. You can open it up and then close it, and both sides have the touch screen. Yep.
Well, now you know why that's significant.
Why?
This way, you could have a flip phone and still be cool.
Yes, you could.
That's important. But the story does say there's a catch, as the headline alluded, regarding Mushi. This company says, but there's a catch. The phone that Mushi intends to release initially only will have a black and white display.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
But I mean, they're on a path to color. You'll find out in a moment here. The company says it's aiming for a full color version, which is more technically challenging to make by the year 2018. So later this year, it's black and white. Down the road, 2018, they hope to have the color.
Okay.
The black and white phones are expected to sell for around 5,000 yuan. I hope I'm saying that right. About $760 US. In China, though. Again, that's just in China. And the cheapest version of Apple's iPhone 6S in China goes for the equivalent in the US dollars of $806. That seems high, doesn't it? I mean, are they paying a premium over there for this stuff?
I think so.
Yeah, that seems high to me. Anyway, Mushi, which specializes in graphene, released some regular smartphones last year using the material. So they had some rigid smartphones, but using the graphene material for the display. By the way, the company's name is short, kind of a shortened, truncated version of the word graphene in Chinese, so this article says. And as you pointed out, the article also notes giant tech companies like Samsung and LG have also been working on flexible touchscreens and developing products using graphene, according to Nicole Peng, who's an analyst at the tech research firm called Canalysis. Canalis? Let's spell that. Canalys.
Canalis.
Thank you. See, Craig, you add value so much in terms of pronouncing things and knowing what stuff means. A big help. You're like my walking wiki thesaurus guy.
Exactly.
Online in real time. Samsung has already tried curved screens that wrap around the device from the front to the sides. LG has flex phones, which are nearly curved to the shape of your head. They bend a bit, but nowhere near as much as Moshi claims its phones will. Apple, meanwhile, received a patent for a flexible electronic device last year. That's always interesting to follow those patent filings, right? The filing showed 24 drawings of how the device could be wrapped. Or warped, rather, it says here. And then a quote from this research analyst, Nicole Peng, goes on to say, the challenge for companies is to figure out if it makes commercial sense to build this product for a mass market. I kind of think it would have strong appeal. Maybe I'm naive, but I think it could have really strong appeal. And I also would suggest for these developers to think about things beyond the personal individual use. Again, fire, police, all kinds of possible uses for something like this, or military.
Yeah, exactly.
Wearable technology generally doesn't have the full capacity of a regular smartphone, she said, and customers are going to want a device with greater computing power and lots of functions. So she's saying that this Mushi technology is great, wraps around, but the phones may lack a little bit in the kapow and power side of it. So, you know, it's an emerging idea, but I think it was fun to just think about going the ultimate step of something that would wrap around your wrist.
Right. And I think it would be really, really cool technology too.
Yeah.
It looks a little bulky though, when for a really big bracelet.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why, Craig, I was thinking to myself, maybe for men who wouldn't mind, who we're kind of used to larger, bulkier things on our wrists, right, than our ladies. But that's, again, why I keep going back to things like a police officer. Imagine if a police officer could have something on his or her wrist that would give them communications capabilities and other things that they normally have to rely on their laptop exclusively in their vehicle, right? So, I mean, I don't know, or a device like on their arm that can communicate with the PC that's in their car, which in turn can communicate to the cloud and through to the police force. I think that kind of stuff is of interest to me. And think of, again, the military possibilities, the same kind of idea. Well, who knows?
Yeah, that's very true. But again, it looks very cool. I've not seen anything like it, you know. So it looks like a very cool piece of technology. I don't see this presenting a major challenge to the current phones that we have here in the U.S., at least not initially. This is certainly going to appeal to a particular type of audience, though.
Well, right. And again, the fact that Apple filed a patent for a wearable or a bendable, fully wrap-aroundable device of some kind, question mark,
Right.
That's the company that can make it go mainstream if anybody can.
Yes, it's true. Okay, well, we're coming up to the half-hour break here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit with the screen sharing ability that we have
Yes.
here on Hangouts, because I think that I can now present the actual website. So it's actually
Ooh.
there's the actual website of the next story that's coming out. And
Oh, there you go. Look at you, Craig.
we'll continue. I'll continue to show the show notes, but actually, I'm going to actually display the actual websites that are reflected
Nice.
in the show notes. I still say that you should, get the show notes as well. You're listening to the Computer America Show. Ralph Bond is here with us. We're doing all these different stories that Ralph finds for us. We're gonna break, and we're going to have some commercial messages, and also the news testable review from Marty Winston. This is the last time you'll be hearing those. We'll have 2 new ones for you starting Monday. In the meantime, Ben is not with us this hour today. He'll be back with us on Monday. We have our social media, the winner, coming up as well. You're listening to the Computer America Show. We will be right back. Please stay with us.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons: accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons: accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Oh, heck, he was so fat, I bet it took him 2 trips to go through a revolving door. Hi, Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review of the Klein Tools Low Voltage Fish Rod Set. Now think about the patch bays and racks you've had of wire with places so skinny arms and hands just can't get through. The Klein Tools Polymer Fish Rod Set has 4 rods, different types: round rigid, round semi-rigid, flat semi-rigid, and round glow-in-the-dark. Each is 14 inches long, with one end threaded male, the other a mating female. It also has 5 glow-in-the-dark ends: mini eyelet, domed eyelet, bullet, hook, and claw, different ways to grab wires. Bottom line, when the wire you have to place is in way too skinny a space, a Klein Tools Polymer Fish Rod Set can make running that wiring a lot less tiring. Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
33 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Ben is not with us today. He will be back with us on Monday. But in the meantime, fret not. Ralph Bond is here with us, our correspondent, also with Autodesk, and we're talking about all these really cool things. And I have finally figured out the way to display the things that Ben would normally be displaying to you, so you can see. If you're watching our live video stream, of course, you can see Ralph, and in addition to that, I'm actually, instead of displaying the cheat notes, which you can download, I'm actually displaying the websites that the cheat notes are referring to, so you can see this. And this next story is about an artist named Amy Carl, and evidently she is growing a human hand with 3D printed scaffolds and stem cells. This sounds like really amazing.
Say, Craig, in your sound effects library, do you have something like weird, sci-fi music, like woo?
Yeah, sure.
If you have it handy, fire it up. This is pretty freaky, people. That's awesome. Yeah, so for some of these stories, you might have to fire that up at the beginning. This is really one of those. And by the way, as Craig mentioned, I work for Autodesk, and if you're not familiar with Autodesk, we're the AutoCAD people, but we're so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And this story kind of indicative of that, because I'll give you a shameless Autodesk plug alert before we even get into this story. This one and the next one, both. I think those are my only shameless Autodesk plugs.
Okay.
But again, as I always tell Craig and Ben and the audience, I pick these stories because I think they genuinely stand on their own right, regardless of the fact that they may have something to do with Autodesk. So with that said, as Craig mentioned, this artist, Amy Carl, I think that's how it's pronounced, Karle, growing a human hand with 3D printed scaffolds and stem cells. Now, it's not going to be a functioning human hand. We're going to realize that right away, but it's still very interesting. The link is in the show notes. As Craig mentioned, he's got the actual website up, and it comes from, by the way, a fun website. If you're into 3D printing, 3Ders, 3DERS.org. And the story is simply attributed to the first name Tess, so I don't know who that person is, but it's still a great story. So here's the story. It says, new media artist Amy Carl has for years dedicated her work to exploring the relationship between the human body and technology through generative art. Interesting, huh? Her most recent project, called Regenerative Reliquary, continues this exploration with a special focus on how the body and human cells can live outside the body through the creation of a human hand.
Wow.
Freaky. The project, which is currently being exhibited at Autodesk's Pier 9, and that's in San Francisco, by the way, guys. In San Francisco, there's all those piers like Pier 1, 2, 3, and so on. Pier 9 is part of that old shipping pier that's in the Embarcadero area. Autodesk took over a large part of that pier and transformed it into this kind of research laboratory for makers and 3D and all that. It's just unreal. Anyway, so the project, which is currently being exhibited at Autodesk Pier 9, where Carl is an artist in residence, consists of an intricately designed 3D printed hand-shaped scaffold on which Carl is actually growing human cells. Okay. As technology and the body become increasingly connected both in our daily lives and more significantly through medical research, Carl's project is an important one to take note of. I couldn't agree more. On a personal level as well, the creation of a hand using human cells has been significant for Carl, as the artist has been an active volunteer for a number of 3D printed prosthetic organizations, including Superhero Cyborgs, Kid Mob, and E-Nable, all of which inspired her to embark on this particular project. In the creation of the 3D printed hand scaffold, Carl worked with bioscientist Chris Venter and materials scientist, John Varicella, to design a 3D model of a dynamic scaffold based on her own hand structure. In designing the scaffold structure, Carl had to ensure it was porous enough to allow for cell growth and built in a way that encouraged cell attachment and growth. Wow. Importantly as well, the hand scaffold had to be made from a biocompatible and biodegradable material. The result of the design is an intricate, almost lace-like structure integrated into the human bone shapes. Oh, it's so freaky weird. And there's more in the story to go and read and see more pictures as Craig has shown you in the original source website. And it's just, it's eerie and ethereal and kind of freaky and so clever and interesting. And talk about art taking a turn down an interesting road. There's this scaffolding you see that Craig is showing you right now. Fascinating. I love this story.
It is. It's just amazing.
Yeah, look at that image you're showing right now. That's so incredible.
and this is her hand. This is
it's based on her hand.
Talking about getting your hand into things.
And Craig, another thought came to my mind. She talked about, or early in the article, talked about. Yes, it's called the art object, the piece, or the however you want to describe, regenerative reliquary. And I, as I was reading those notes just now, I thought, oh yeah. I've been to Europe, gone to a lot of these cathedrals, right? Where in the Middle Ages, people would do pilgrimages, right? And they would go to venerate relics. And sometimes it would be the finger bone of Saint so-and-so or this or that. So it's almost like, I wonder if the artist had in mind this idea of a reliquary, because so often it's either the skull of Saint so-and-so or the hand of so-and-so or the finger or whatever, right? And you would go as a pilgrim and venerate these objects and so forth in the hopes that this would help you when you die, get to heaven faster.
Anyway, it's a very interesting story.
Very, very interesting. And the final image, or one of the images where it's suspended and the cells are growing up over the armature, is just like, okay, that's freaky deaky.
Yeah, they're right there.
There you go. That picture there.
You can see the fingers are not quite fully formed there yet, but they're.
Ooh, I know, it's weird.
Okay, so I guess
now you can fire up your weirdo music again if you want.
I think they get the point.
I think so. I'll just go ooh.
Yeah, exactly. We actually no. Okay, so anyhow, let's move to the next story. Story 4. Now this is another one too. This is researchers. We wear jewelry and everything, but researchers have created a way, get this, to print jewelry right on your body.
Yes. And again, shameless Autodesk plug alert. I promise I think this is the only one, or the last one. So this is from Business Insider, a story by Danielle Miolio. Oh, God, some of these names. Anywho, great story, great images, and again, isn't that wonderful? You're able to show the GIF there from the website. Exactly. You can see what's going on, which is really kind of cool. Thank you, Craig. This is great. We don't need Ben.
That's
no, we love Ben. Yes. Anywho, it says here, researchers are developing a unique way to print fabrications directly onto your body. Now, you might stop and say, well, why would you do this? Because you can.
Yeah, and it's better than a tattoo. And it's not as permanent as a tattoo. Exactly.
Well, now that's a good point. If you want to be a little weird but not have to live with it the rest of your life, unless you want to do painful laser removal, then this is a good way to go. I hadn't thought about that, Craig. That's a great idea.
But the picture I'm looking at almost looks like it's 3D, like it's floating.
Oh, yeah. It's weird. So it says here, developed by Autodesk Research, there's the shameless plug, with Carnegie Mellon University, the new technique allows you to print 3D designs directly onto your skin with ease. The process is really simple. You first draw the design onto your body using Tactum, T-A-C-T-U-M, a system, that's the name for the system, that captures your gestures using a Microsoft Kinect and a depth camera. Using Tactum allows you to project a design onto your body. Once you have the digital canvas of your design, you trace over the projection with Exoskin, E-X-O skin. Exoskin prints your design with a skin-safe clay and dries in minutes. So to your point, Craig, this is not meant to be a permanent thing.
Right.
At least in its present form, it's just meant to be, like I said, you could have fun. Maybe you're young, unlike me. Maybe you're hip, unlike me. Maybe you're going to go to some dance club, unlike me, and you want something new and different on your body, right?
This certainly
This-
would be it.
This could be really actually pretty cool. So it says the two-part system could be used. Now, it's going to shift gears for a second because now it's saying, okay, it's fun, that's interesting, but what else could it do? It says the two-part system could be used to make custom jewelry. That's nice. Fitness trackers, smart eyewear, and medical devices like braces and casts, the researchers wrote in their paper, and we have a link in the show notes to that paper if you're interested in checking that out. So what I love these things because on the surface they seem like just fun and games and trivial, but then always or nearly always these explorations, this research could branch off and go in directions you might not have originally thought of, such as quickly customizing a cast for someone's arm based on that tactum system with the Kinects and the depth camera, right?
Mhm.
And giving you something that's really made to fit perfectly your body. So I just love that kind of stuff. Concludes by saying the researchers wrote that participants with and without experience in 3D modeling were happy with the tactum system, but that it's still in the research phase. And it concludes by saying we may not be seeing it anytime soon, but it hints at how 3D modeling and printing can get much easier. It is just an interesting advance. And I'm so glad you had the website up there and people could see the animation going on there because it's a kick. I just think that's really something.
It really is.
cool.
Very, very cool. And then you can read more about it if you have the show notes. You can see the links and you can
Right.
more information about it and watch some of the videos as well on this. So
Gotta love it.
okay, all right. Well, let's go to the next story here. Now, this one, story 5, is automated West Hollywood parking garage.
Yeah. Hey, Craig, is there any chance you can fire off the video that's embedded in the show notes?
I don't know. I can try, but it says it makes the world a bit cleaner. Using robots to store and fetch parked cars will save on carbon emissions.
Yeah. Because if you can, I don't want to blow up your system or anything, but if you can fire off that video that's in the show notes, the audience will immediately go, "Oh, I get it."
Okay.
It's really cool. So while you're trying there, hopefully not blowing up the whole thing.
Yeah, really.
Well, maybe it's not worth the risk.
I don't think
Your decision. We're doing so well. Maybe we shouldn't try to be Ben. We're pushing the Ben needle too far, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
So this story comes from Building Design and Construction magazine. So if you've been with me and Craig on shows where I've appeared, again, you know, I work for Autodesk, and the part of Autodesk I work for is called the architecture, engineering, and construction side of the Autodesk family. That's all of our software for those industries, right? And I track a lot of magazines in the field, such as Building Design and Construction. Oh, look at that. You've got it going. Good for you. Oh, yeah. So while you're watching this video, we'll get into the story. But Building Design and Construction magazine is absolutely wonderful. This is a story by Mike Kamernick. And it's all about this robotic parking garage in LA. So here's the story. In addition to gaining 200 much needed parking spaces, the city of West Hollywood, California is effectively planting hundreds of acres worth of trees. You're going to see how that makes sense in a moment here. The city recently opened a new fully automated parking garage for city staff, residents, and local businesses. Designed by LPA Inc., and outfitted with technology from Unitronics Automated Solutions. And there's a link in the show notes to this outfit. You need to check these people out. Fascinating. The garage will use robots to move and store cars throughout the parking garage building. Love it, love it, love it. Again, that video must see. Since the cars are turned off when being parked and retrieved, the city says that the reduction in carbon dioxide emissions is equal to removing 92 cars from the road over a year. That's equal to planting 67,000 trees. That's kind of fun. To make the garage even more sustainable, I love this. I love this. Get ready. To make the garage even more sustainable, the shell surrounding the warehouse is made of composite wood panels made from recycled plastic grocery bags. Yay!
Oh.
Photovoltaic solar panels and drought-tolerant landscaping has also been installed. The garage will also display public art and serve as a community open space according to the creators LPA, the designers. I rest my case. Is this not, I mean, someone says, you're going to talk to me about a parking garage? Let's all go to sleep. No. Let's all wake up and just drool. Now, we have to bring in a little bit of reality. What happens if there's a power failure and I want my car?
They have UPS. They have one big honking UPS, right?
Well, hopefully they have, yes, an uninterruptible power supply. You would almost think, Craig, they'd have to.
Yeah.
But other than power loss and so forth, and of course, one could say, this is great, Ralph. This is a lot of fun. I'm loving the video. How much this is going to cost? I mean, how many businesses can really afford this? One of the thoughts I had was, as I was looking at this, and see if you agree, Craig, this could also be underground. And what if this were for a high-rise living, where people live and the parking garage and so forth? You could get so many more cars. The density could be so much greater, would it not? I think, because you're not going to have to build ramps or any of these other things that a normal parking garage has to accommodate for. If you had this kind of system, it could make a high-rise residential parking more feasible, and of course commercial buildings, and on and on and on. But I and this company, Unitronics, they're a British company, if I've got it right. Go and check them out too. Really cool stuff.
It's interesting because I think that we're going to we're back to the actual website now.
Yeah.
One thing, and this looks really cool. It reminds me of Will Smith and the iRobot when they
yes, another great Will Smith movie.
Very similar type of setup with their parking garages.
Yep.
You know what might prevent this from happening is the other big movement is to autonomous automobiles.
Right. Exactly.
Where maybe the cars are still stored in a structure like this, but people aren't driving them at all. Basically, you hit your Uber thing, and and then the car comes to you, and there's nobody driving it. It's like a public transportation, but yet on an individual basis.
Yeah,
but they still may need things like this to store those cars, and but nobody will be driving them.
Your point's well made. If there's an urban future whereby people just stop owning cars and just use autonomous vehicles that are in a shared usage fashion, but your point's still well made. This kind of structure would be the place where those cars would go to sleep and wait and maybe recharge. Who knows, right? Any number of possibilities.
Yes, it is, but it's extremely interesting to see this and that. Yeah.
And I want to put in a plug for my friends at Building Design and Construction Magazine. Friends, if you think, oh, Ralph, you're a geek, you work in that industry, that's why you think it's no. There's another story coming up from that magazine that'll surprise the pants off of you. It's a fun, because engineering, architecture, and construction today is not boring. It's highly being, would be the word, motivated by the latest of kinds of technologies. So don't think of, hard hats and pickup trucks, and that's all part of it, and God love them, but there's also a huge technological revolution going on worldwide in construction. Check it out. And Building Design and Construction Magazine is a joy to read.
Well, what we're gonna do is pick that up right now, and from automobiles to parking garages to foldable chairs.
Yeah,
foldable chairs and tables. Okay, this is actually very, very cool.
Yes, and again, if you're just listening and you don't have the show notes and you're not online seeing what Craig is showing, you might think, "What? Craig and Ralph they're excited about folding chairs?"
Yeah, these are.
But wait.
Yeah.
This is not your father's, grandfather's, or whatever folding chair.
Yeah.
Also from Building Design and Construction Magazine, a story by Mike Kamernick. Designer creates chairs and tables that fold into wall art. Okay, now you have to have the show notes and you have to see these videos because it's a hoot and a half. So here's the story. It says, a chair that folds? Not new. A chair that folds and can be hung on the wall as a conversation starter? That's fairly novel. I couldn't agree more. Designer Yong-Ha Chow, I hope I'm saying that right, created the D-dimension Form 2D to 3D collection of colorful stools and tables. When not in use, the furniture can easily be folded flat and displayed as art. So if you have the show notes, oh good, you're showing the video. Watch this. This is too freaky. See, it's like a magic act or something.
It is. It's like a magic
Right?
act.
I just love this guy. Anyway, Chow drew inspiration for the project from thinking about mankind's fascination and history with 2D images. There's a quote from him, from the designer. It says, quote, "In our current situation in which modern society experiences the image in relation to advertising, image circulation, and the internet, why do we not question an image's confinement to a flat surface?" He's got his own website. It's really great. There's a link in the show notes. "Why don't we try to get more stereoscopic and attempt for direct experience with the image? My question started with this point, and I tried several experiments in order to realize this idea from a personal point of view." And I'm so glad you have the video going. Now, it goes on to say, "It's unclear if Chow will begin increasing production or start selling the furniture. I think they'd be a hit."
I do too. Oh yeah.
I mean, and they actually have a practical purpose too. If you're living in these tiny homes or very small studio apartments or something, you could have additional seating that becomes wall art when it's not in use. Cool. Now, considering one of his recent creations is the elaborate but impractical cigarette chair, the line is probably just an artistic concept. I actually kind of disagree. I think what you're seeing in the video that Craig is showing has commercial viability. The cigarette chair, though, folks, if you have the show notes, and there's a video in there too. It's this, what's that famous guy years and years ago, Rube Goldberg or whatever, who'd make these fantastic fantasy machines. You have to see this very funny video this designer created called the cigarette chair. It's this most elaborate, ridiculous contraption just to open windows when he wants to smoke a cigarette in his studio. But anyway, really fun. And again, from Building Design and Construction magazine, that is the antithesis of a snooze article coming from that publication. It's great. Check it out.
Yeah, I'm actually showing the cigarette chair now.
Good. Yeah, watch this. This is hilarious.
There's a cigarette chair, and
yeah, and he sits down and he cranks things, and there's all these pulleys and all this stuff that open the two side windows and pull the drapes or raise the curtains and so forth. And when he's done smoking, we got the video going.
Got the video. Here's the cigarette chair.
I mean, this is silly. I mean, this is just whimsical and silly.
All right,
but those folding chairs that we were talking about initially, those again, I think they have real commercial legs. Ooh, no pun intended. See how it fires up an exhaust fan, right?
Yeah.
Raises the blinds. He's just turning this one thing. And actually, by turning this, it's unfolding the chair, opening the windows, right? It's too funny. So then he could sit down and light up. I tell you, it's like, why go to this trouble? Because you can.
Exactly. There it is. All right.
Hilarious.
Hysterical. All right. And again, you can see this all on with the show notes.
Right.
Now, what we're going to do is I think we're going to skip over to story 8. And there was a classic line in the movie Michael with John Travolta. He plays an angel.
Oh yes, boy, I remember that now.
And,
yeah.
There's a scene there where he's talking to one of the people that he's interacting with, and he starts talking about waxing nostalgic about this great city he was at called Mesopotamia, and I think it's Stephen Hurt, the actor, turns to him and says, oh, that's been gone for thousands of years. And John Travolta looks at him and sighs, nothing lasts.
Yeah.
And that's the premise of what we're going to be talking about, because it's true. Even today, with all of our technology, nothing lasts, because first we had floppy disks, magnetic floppy disks, and they all have a very short lifetime. And so we went to CDs, and then CDs, optical media. We thought, okay, well, optical media, that's going to start because it's permanent. They're not readable or writable. They have a shelf life of maybe about 30 years. And so then they came up with archival versions of CDs that would give you 100 years. it's still just 100 years. Where do you put your stuff when you want it lasted for, centuries? You want some preservation of your photographs, so your ancestors, your great, I mean, not great, I mean, your future generations are going to be able to see all the information about it. I don't today we don't have much that would preserve that. However, one possibility is storing these images in the cloud. And a new company has come out called, aptly named, by the way, Forever. Okay.
Yeah.
And Forever, basically, they're saying it's going to be your complete memory keeping solution. It offers a permanency model, the only one that exists in the cloud photo storage arena. And this is, again, a claim by forever.com.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about that. But, we're up against the top of the hour, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be talking about Forever. Other stories that Ralph is going to be talking about is here's about a light bulb socket for people who don't want to buy connected lights. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be really interesting. And then also we have how do you make all-in-one PCs interesting? Do we have a PC for you, an all-in-one PC that will blow you away? This is absolutely amazing. I don't think I've ever seen something like this. Anyway, we're at the bottom of the hour, we're at the top of the hour. We're going to take a quick break, and then Ralph and I will continue on with these stories and lots more. You're listening to the Computer America Show. We're going to have our social media winner of the week coming up in the second hour as well. 347-884-8881 will get you on and get you through. I'm going to be right back. I promise. This is Computer America. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman. And I'm your co-host, Ben. And no, that's not Ben. This is Ben.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
No, that's not him either. No, Ben is not here with us today. He is off doing some things that we need. He won't be with us today. Sorry. But Ben will return. Promise you. He will be back this coming Monday. So don't be too disappointed. In the meantime, Ralph Bond is here from Autodesk. He continues on with us. We're talking about some of the really cool technology products. Now, normally Ben uses the technology to display the websites, movies, and links, but yours truly has discovered a way to do that in his absence. So all you need to do is head over to ComputerAmerica.com, click on any page there. It says our show lounge. That it will open up our live video streaming page. You can watch everything. You're joined to the show already in progress, and you can see everything we're talking about. Of course, if you missed any portion of the show, we have our archives that you just click on the archives link and you can watch the show after the show is over. You can't watch today's show until it's after it's finished, but then you can watch the show. We archive it, the audio, video, either at Apple's iTunes and Stitcher and the Blog Talk Radio Network. We have our own YouTube channel, so you can watch the videos as well. But it's all here. And Ralph continues with us here to the end. How you hanging in there, Ralph?
I'm doing great and it's Friday.
It's Friday.
Where's those applause, that applause track.
Yes, it's Friday. And not only is it Friday, but we're going to have our social media winner of the week. We're going to be announcing the prize coming up a little bit later on.
That's when I use my drumsticks,
yes,
right?
He's got his drumsticks all ready to play.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. And the other thing, of course, is you can download the live, the show notes. Again, head over to ComputerAmerica.com. You click on the today's show at ComputerAmerica.com, and it says cheat notes. And you click on that, it'll open up the Google Docs document, so you can actually follow along. There's pictures, images, links, pricing, everything is there. So you can follow that. And of course, if you're watching the live video stream, you can actually see the websites that I will be displaying as Ralph talks about them. And this next one, I kind of teased it, is Forever. Forever.com, and they're billing Forever as a complete memory keeping solution. It offers a permanency model, the only one that exists in the cloud photo storage arena, according to this company. Because, as I said, nothing lasts, and I mean,
Right.
optical media, only has a certain amount of life to it. So how do you store all your precious memories? And evidently, Forever.com may be the solution. So tell us about this.
Well, yeah, first of all, this was referred to me by a fellow Autodesk colleague and who knows the folks involved. And I just thought, oh, this is cool. And we have the link in the show notes, as Craig mentioned. And it's a model. So that's someone might be listening to this and saying, well, what do you mean if they come up with some kind of media that is physical media that's going to last for an eternity? No, that's not what they're saying. I think it's really clever. It's a model. It's kind of a insurance kind of model for longevity. So let's get into the story here, and I'll give you some background. And this is information I got from the company's spokesperson, a fellow named Glenn Meekum, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Meakem. Glenn Meekum founded Forever, the company, in 2012 after his father died of cancer. And as the self-appointed family historian, he felt obliged or obligated to ensure his father's memory lived on for his 5 children and future generations. Now, it turns out Glenn is a renowned high-tech entrepreneur. He was the founder of Free Markets. And again, there's a link in the show notes. You can get all this information. And in high-tech venture capital space is founder of the Meekum Becker Capital outfit. And he wanted to create a cloud memory management company that focused on permanence. Now, what they did is they stepped back, not only the permanence thing, but they wanted to create a one-stop kind of thing for people who want to have a memory maintenance with their digital assets, right? So Forever acquired 3 companies in order to make their product a one-stop shop. Now, currently, there's about 50,000 active monthly users in 50 states and 10 countries, and of course that's growing. And there's more than, and they've raised more than $30 million. Now, more than 1 million was placed in a restricted fund upon Forever's inception. Now, that's the business model. Let's go through that again. Over $1 million was placed in a restricted fund upon Forever's inception. The fund, named the Forever Guarantee Fund, goes to ensure digital migration. That's the key. Digital migration of future file formats, top encryption and security. So again, they're not claiming they've come up with a physical media that's it forever, but rather a migration model and kind of an insurance sort of package, if you will. Goes on to say over 70 cents of every dollar members pay for permanent storage goes into that fund. So the fund gets stronger and stronger as time goes on, right? Now, the company claims the permanency model, the only one that exists in a cloud photo storage arena, as Craig mentioned at the outset here. And it just says, great for family members, moms, anybody to keep your information stored, organized, print, and share and save memories with this permanence business model. So I think the thing that was so creative and so interesting to me, and why I loved this story and was happy to do it, is the business model that is technology proof, so to speak. So today, maybe an SD card is a really great way to go, but tomorrow there might be something else. It's talking about migrating and cloud-based migration at that. So whatever form storage takes in the cloud in the future, maybe it's today server farms of hard drives, tomorrow it's all solid state, 10 years from now, who knows, right? Yeah, so that's the business model part of this story, Craig, that I just thought was so intriguing.
It looks like they have the Forever, which is the free account. Then they have something called Forever Artisan, which allows you to create and print personalized scrapbooks, photo books, calendars, and that type of things that make nice keepsake gifts. You have the Forever Historian. Yeah. Organize, edit, and share your treasured digital photos, video clips, and audio files on your computer. All right. And then Forever Services, where you actually send, old photos, slides, albums, home videos, audio tapes, anything, literally anything, boxes of them if you want. And they'll digitize and store them online at Forever. That's really great, because I know, for example, if there are a lot of the services you bring in old 16 millimeter film or 8 millimeter film, and then they'll convert it to a DVD, and then but basically this is what you're doing. You're taking any kind of information, audio tapes, movies, home videos, and they will digitize and store them online. I assume that they're conversion services that you do, and there's a little button here that says conversion services, which I'm going to click on. And basically,
look at that. See,
they have the basic box package, $79. The typical contents could include 200 photos, 150 slides, 100 negative images, 2 tapes, 3 reels, or combinations of each media type, and that will cost you $79. Then they have an album box package, which they said contents can include 1 photo album or scrapbook containing up to 50 pages. That's $149. Then there's the deluxe box package, which is $399. That includes 1,200 photos, 900 slides, 600 negative images, 12 tapes, 18 reels, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Well, yeah, and Craig, as you're talking about the prices for these packages, when you think about the amount of time and maybe equipment and expertise and so forth that's required, and if you're not if you're still working, you're not retired, and you don't have the luxury of that time, yet the urgency of preserving things, because to conclude my thought, that those prices are not really that crazy at all. And I love the flexibility idea, the idea that box A, box B, box C, different size, you just put in whatever you want. If it fits in the box, as I understand it, you're good to go. And if it's the kind of media they're prepared to work with. Because one of the things, Craig, that I like about this Forever bunch is, again, they acquired a variety of companies, put it all together, and came up with, to my eyes and my experience to date, the most complete family memory digitization and storage preservation model that I've seen in my experience with this kind of product line. I think it's a real accomplishment. They might be really cool guests.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. My only worry is, obviously, you're about to send all these precious memories off, and you kind of have to keep your fingers crossed that nothing's going to happen to it. It says
that is the downside.
Yeah, well, here it says basically how it works is you place your order, you choose from which package you want, and then when you do that, you receive a secure, insured postage paid box to fill with the items you'd like to digitize. And then as soon as they receive your items, their team will be in touch to finalize your order details, make sure your memories are preserved to your exact specifications. That's nice. So you're going to talk to somebody there, they have all your materials, and then they can say, yeah, we can do that. I mean, if you have some weird thing like, you have some of these. Remember I remember as a kid, I had these 3D camera that was very expensive. It had 2 lenses, and I have boxes of 3D photographs that they're like slides, but they have a left and a right. So in 3D. So I'm sure they must know about them, but evidently they'll tell you what they can, or if there's something they can't digitize, they'll let you know too. Then once you've done that, they'll upload the scanned images to Forever, so then you can look at them and see them online. And then when we return your items, you'll receive DVD copies of your digitized movies, as well as any additional physical backups you've ordered. So that's it. So then after they've finished it, they send it all back to you, supposedly safe and sound and insured. And that seems to be how it all works here.
Yeah. And again, anything you send off in shipping, of course, nobody can ever guarantee there isn't going to be a accident and the shipping truck is burned up. I mean, anything could happen. But I still think overall it's a pretty darn great holistic approach to this challenge. And by the way, a thought came to my mind. You may know this, Craig. If you talk to anybody in the insurance business and you talk about what do policyholders grieve the most about if their house burns down?
Yes, exactly.
Family photos, the irreplaceable memories, furniture, TV, that stuff.
Oh.
Yes, it's tragic, but you can replace those things, clothing and so on. But those family memories,
Well, yeah, see, I'm looking at here. They show from VHS to mini DV. Will convert your tapes to HD digital video and return them. Then here's what we can convert film reels such as Super 8, 16 millimeter, 16. There it is, and more at any size reel to bring your home. And then even here, from fine china to your favorite coffee mug, artwork, sculptures, and more, we can help you create a digital copy of just about any precious physical memory. So if you have a cup or whatever, you can send that to them.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Yeah.
So it looks like they have their act in order, and I certainly I think this would be a terrific candidate to have on the program.
Glenn himself sounds interesting, and then this whole concept behind this sounds interesting, and the business model, it's got legs. The story has legs from a business point of view, human interest point of view, all that kind of stuff. I think I recommend that maybe you try to reach out to those guys, and I can give you the spokesperson that I was dealing with, Craig, and I'm happy to do that, of course.
Exactly, and we'll probably take you up on that. But again, it's called forever.com. So
yeah.
All right, we continue on here with this next story.
Oh, yeah.
And this is how many programmers does it take to screw in a light? No. All right. Story 9. Finally, it reads, finally, a light bulb socket for people who don't want to buy connected lights.
Amen.
Now, all right. Now, why is this important? Why don't you explain this to us?
Well, I think people have become, and Craig, you and I, on previous engagements that I've had with the show, remember the one that was a LED light bulb that also had a speaker built inside of it, and you could it was Bluetooth enabled, and great idea. I love it. Nothing bad about that at all. But there's all these programmable light bulbs, but not problem, but the path most companies have taken is to say, I'm going to give you a light bulb, Ralph. It's an LED light bulb, and it should last many, many years, and it's programmable, but it's all in one thing, and there it is, and you take the wattage that the bulb is, or the whatever it is, and sorry, it's a fixed deal. Here you go. But what if you had a socket? If you have the show notes, you can see the picture. Right. If you have a socket that takes any kind of bulb you want to stick in there, and then gives you the programmability and so forth in the housing of the socket. But wait, there's more. This little illuminated ring can do some fun things, but I digress. Let me set the story up here a little bit more. This comes from The Verge, a story by Ashley Carmen. And it says here, there are batteries to make regular appliances smart. Now there's a light socket to make any light bulb a connected one. What a simple, great idea, right? And she says, oh, and that socket has its own LED light ring too. But there's more. Socket comes with an app that lets users turn their lights on, adjust their brightness and power, and create a room ambiance. Gotta love that. I just thought of Austin Powers for some reason. Anyway, its light ring changes colors. Yes. Why? Because it can.
There you go.
And because it syncs with Apple's HomeKit, Siri also works. That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah. Now,
this socket has a retail price of $79, not including the bulbs, but I think that's a plus because you pick the bulb you want to put in this guy, right?
Right.
And then I thought, well, this is really interesting. I want to know more about this company than just this particular product. So I went out to their website. The link is in the show notes. And they have a really cool switch device. And if you're looking at the show notes, there you go. Thanks, Craig. You can see this little adapter, if you plug in. And then this allows you to plug in any lamp or anything and control it as well with Siri. So through voice commands. And I thought, how clever is that? $49. So I like where these guys are coming from, where this company's coming from, giving you the flexibility to plug in whatever you want to plug in and whatever bulb you want into their socket, and away you go. And you're out at their website right now. And what a hoot. I just love this kind of thinking and flexibility combined with wonderful technologies like LED bulbs. And wow, here you go.
Yeah, that is really. You did, was it the one you did that had the picture, the digital picture frame that the thing came down from the bottom? Was that, the plug was yours too? I think it was.
That doesn't ring a bell offhand. What I remember was the bit about the music speaker bulbs we were talking about. Maybe.
Anyway, maybe it was a news story that Ben. But anyway,
yeah,
this is sort of along the lines of that. But this is called Switch, and basically you can use Siri, so you can say, Siri, turn on my bedroom lamp or something like that.
I love that.
Yeah, and so and it works fairly transparently. I mean, you just get it, you plug it in, and you're done. Which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah. And Craig, do you know? I heard in passing about Apple HomeKit, but you can see a reference there. Do you know what that is? Is that a standard of Apple interface? Or
yes?
Okay, I thought it was. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Yeah, and if you're a developer, you work with Apple, you become a certified Apple developer with the HomeKit, and they give you an SDK,
Okay,
developer kit for that, and then your product, whatever it may be, works with Apple's HomeKit. And here's this is an example of how this works. So now it makes it so it works with Siri.
Yeah.
And
educate me further. So with this plug that we're looking at, with the light plugged into it, would I talk to it? Would I control it through my iPhone?
Yes.
Or that's the idea. Yeah. I see. Okay, of course.
You can use your voice, but you can control it from an app in your smartphone. You can explore different features again from your smartphone or from your Mac or for anything that any Apple product, really, any iOS product, be it an iPad or what have you. But yes. It is, and of course it's internet ready, so you don't have to be in your house to turn your lights on. You can use your smartphone to turn it on. And they do schedules and that type of thing.
Yeah, that's very cool. I think it's really great.
Yes, it is. All right, and so again, that's the product is called iDevices, and you can see more about it if you want by looking at the show notes, or again later on if you're watching it, you can hear more about it. If you missed the portion, you can go visit the site yourself. Okay. Anyhow, we're continuing on, and this next item, story, and we tease this too. All-in-one PCs really have become very popular. They really are. I mean, obviously, there's still the desktop, the tower configuration. You can go inside and add cards and everything, but so many of us today are using our computers like appliances. Really, we don't really want to get inside it. We don't want to mess. We just want to use the computer. It's like you have your telephone. I don't want to open up the telephone and see what's. I just want to make a call. I just want to drive my car. I don't want to get under the hood. And I think all-in-one PCs today pretty much follow that same mentality. Okay.
Right.
So, but there are all kinds of all-in-one PCs and different types. And you found one here that kind of blows them away. This is like, they're saying, how do you make all-in-one PCs interesting? Well, you make it with top-end graphics, a 34-inch screen. I mean, this is amazing. Tell us about that. We're going to show that.
Yes, it's sort of like the Ultra Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly.
PC market. So it comes from BGR, a story by Chris Mills. And again, as Craig was saying, the headline is, how do you make all-in-one PCs interesting? Top-end graphics and 34-inch screen. That's how. But it's even deeper than that, really. I just, as you dig into this story, and again, if you have the show notes and Craig is showing you the imagery here, it's really quite something. So the story says all-in-one PCs are normally found in libraries or your grandparents' den. Sort of little snarky comment there, but oh well. Okay. They're the Honda Accord of computing. Predictable, boring, and practical. But what happens if you put genuinely top-end components inside a 34-inch curved screen? Well, you're going to have trouble fitting it on your grandpa's desk, that's for sure. And it goes on to say, at Computex yesterday, now this story was filed on the 1st of this month, and Computex is a big, big show. I've heard
in Taipei.
Taipei, thank you. Huge electronics show, right? And so June the 1st, a company called Digital Storm is the name of the company, unveiled the Aura, A-U-R-A, an all-in-one for gamers who don't like desktops. Now,
We had Digital Storm on the show talking about this.
Oh, cool. Okay, great.
Not this particular one. At that time, they were talking about their laptops, but still. But
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad we're not repeating something you've already done with the show before.
No.
So it has a curved, I love this part, curved 34-inch screen with, get this, 3,400 by 1440 pixel resolution, which should be awesome for gaming, or stacking 70 Chrome tabs next to each other. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Hey, I've forgotten what ultra high def specs are. Is that ultra high def? 344, 330.
It's close. Yeah.
It's close. Yeah. Powering that fearsome screen is an equally fearsome graphics selection. The Aura can be spec'd with NVIDIA's brand new GTX 1080, pretty much the best graphics card money can buy. The rest of the specs are equally good, up to a Core i7 6950X, 512 GBS or gigabytes, so 512 gigabytes solid state drive, 1 terabyte hard drive, and 32 gigs of RAM. Yeah, that spec costs an eye-watering $7,000. But there's less extreme builds with a 1080 for $3,100, or a budget build with a Core i5 and a GTX 960 graphics capability for $2,000. So these are not inexpensive. This is the kind of thing I would run out and buy the minute I hit the big lottery or something, if that ever happens. And then there's a great image. You're showing it now. Folks, if you get the show notes, or if you can go out to the website and zoom in on this image, I think this is a masterpiece of allocating real estate. It reminds me, and it doesn't surprise me that this company makes laptops, right, Craig? Because we all know when you design a laptop, especially today when you're trying to get the thinnest and lightest and so forth, you really have to understand how to maximize layout. And if you look at the back, thanks for scrolling in on that, zooming in, you can see how amazing the layout is, particularly with that graphics card you see there, because they've got to accommodate all of that heat and all of the other components and everything in this enclosure, which is curved to boot. So it's a masterpiece of component layout in this challenging all-in-one space. So going on with the story, it says it's more expensive than putting a build together yourself, obviously, but also a lot tidier on a desk. It's not going to obsolete anytime soon either. And this I really liked a lot. I don't know if this is true with their laptops or other products, but it says Digital Storm, the company, says all the components are user upgradable. So with a little love, it should keep ticking for 5 years or more. So all the components are user upgradable. That means,
That's
again,
unusual. That's incredibly unusual.
yes, it is. You are absolutely right. So one, I was impressed with the layout and the elegance of the design itself. Number two, when I read that line about all components are user upgradable, that means they've designed it to make them accessible, removable, and replaceable as time goes on. Salute to Digital Storm for doing that. I think that's incredibly impressive. And he goes on to say, traditional desktop gamers are going to scoff at the concept of a gaming all-in-one wanting to play in the big leagues. I don't know, maybe. But it's not a ridiculous proposition, especially considering how much some people spend on a giant 17-inch gaming laptop with significantly less power. It's an interesting point. No, you can't mount a triple graphics cards with a custom liquid cooling solution for a maximum overclocking in such a form factor as we're talking about here. But there's also far less to break, and just one power cable coming out of the back. And it concludes, the author says, sign me up. And believe me, if I hit the lottery, I would love to have one of these things. Can you imagine? And a 34-inch screen is big enough for, certainly, I don't know, a small family room. It could be your all-in-one super-de-duper entertainment, everything. I mean, it could just be an amazing machine.
Yeah, it is. Look at that. I mean, it's the beautiful looking.
Oh, gosh, yes. And I love the keyboard and mouse. They don't talk about it in the article, but I presume that comes with the unit. And that looks like a pretty trick. Obviously designed with a gamer in mind. But I actually think, yeah, gaming, great. But I really think for a very high-end general purpose family entertainment system, this could be very, very attractive as well.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and again, for a digital storm, and again, incredible all-in-one system. You don't think of all-in-one systems like this.
No, and what were their laptops like? You mentioned you had them on the show
Yeah,
before.
They were pretty much state of the art, just sort of like
Yeah.
the Voodoo PCs, and
Okay, yeah.
they basically they go out and they would build your computer to order with
Ooh.
components that you specify, and kind of put it together in a nice, friendly package. Sort of like what they're doing here. Because you can customize it. As you said, you can just specify the graphics card that you want, the amount of memory, that type of thing. So
yeah.
Very cool looking system, and certainly I would think anything that a gamer would be proud to own.
Well, it would be a conversation piece, if nothing else. And
Yeah.
I remember going to some of these gamer competition activities, right? Maybe you've been to some too. And these kids are dragging in the big tower machines and their monitors and clanking and cluttering around with keyboard and mouse and stuff. But how cool it would be just to walk in and just under your arm have this thing. There you go.
All right. Well, coming up in the next half hour, we're going to be talking about, get this, a smart toothbrush. A smart toothbrush actually won the Intel's Internet of Things focused reality TV show.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about this. Very cool. And also, semi-autonomous cars hit new record speeds at the Indy track.
Mm-hmm.
And here's one. Amazon just introduced a new $5.99. $5.99 unlimited comic book service.
There you go.
So you comic fans, boy, are you going to love this. This is it. So we're going to continue on. We got more stories coming up. And, of course, when we come back, we'll have our social media winner of the week. Some lucky person is going to win that Logitech Bluetooth M535 wireless mouse. We're going to take a break. This is the Computer America Show. Ralph and I will be right back. Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Yeah, at my age, if I'm paying for a stripper, it's the strip paint. Hi, I'm Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Klein Tools Magnetic Wire Pulling System. There seems to always come a time when we have to run an Ethernet cable or a phone cable or a coax cable down the inside of a wall to some connecting point below. The magnetic wire pulling system from Klein Tools stores in a plastic cylinder about the size of a frozen juice concentrate can. Inside, almost 20 feet of nylon cord on a spool with an impressively strong magnet at one end and a cable holding loop at the other, plus a second magnet with a finger grip. The magnets grab each other through the wall so you can control the path to the opening. Then pulling the cord pulls the wiring through. Bottom line, the Klein Tools magnetic wire pulling system makes working inside a wall a ball. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
33 minutes past the hour here at Computer America. Ralph Bond continues on with us. Ben is out today. He'll be back with us on Monday. We're doing all these really cool stories that Ralph finds for us. And we're going to continue to go back. We teased a couple of the shows, upcoming stories like the toothbrush that won the Intel Internet of Things focus. Yeah, a toothbrush. We're going to be talking about that. But before we get back to that, it is that time of the week where we do our social media winner. And if you see, Ralph has his digital drums ready to go. And so let's do it, okay? Our social media winner this week is how long can you keep it up? Craig Wiggins. Craig Wiggins, congratulations. Craig listens to us in Westchester, Pennsylvania. I don't know. Are you familiar with Westchester, PA? I have not.
No.
But anyway, he wins the Logitech M535 Bluetooth wireless mouse. It works with Windows, Mac, Chrome, OS, Android, you name it. It's completely compatible with all those. It has a really laser grade optical sensor. It sells for $40. So congratulations to you, Craig Wiggins, for being our winner this week. All right. And again, head over to computeramerica.com and get your entry in. I mean, we're giving away all this great stuff. Again, just go to their interact under the interact menu bar. You'll see it says our social media contest. Just select that and you can read the rules. It's really simple to do it. And who knows? We could be calling your name next week. Okay. In the meantime, as I mentioned, Ben is off today. He'll be back with us on Monday. But I have discovered the technology that allows me to show all the websites and videos that we're talking about. So if you're watching a live video stream, you're seeing that. And of course, the cheat notes are up there as well at computeramerica.com. So you can download those next. And we're going to go to the story, which is a smart toothbrush wins the Internet of Things that Intel started. Tell us that this is really cool.
Well, yeah, this is pretty cool on lots of levels, right? First of all, that headline, a smart toothbrush wins Intel's Internet of Things. What? Focused reality TV show? Wow. There's a headline that's just got, fires on all pistons of interest. This comes from eWeek, story by Jeffrey Burt. And again, if you have the show notes, you got the links and everything else, and Craig is going to be showing you things here. The thing is called the Grush, not brush, Grush with a G, G-R-U-S-H. And it's aimed at encouraging kids to develop better brushing techniques. It takes the top spot in the inaugural America's Greatest Makers show. Now, I'm going to stop for a second we've all seen over the past years, lots of different ways to try to get kids to have better brushing habits, brush longer and so forth. Remember, Craig, there's been electronic toothbrushes that have a timer, or they play a little song, or they make funny noises, or all these kinds of things to try to make it entertaining. This just sort of takes it up several notches. You can see in the image that Craig has from the website, the little smartphone that's mounted on a holder and up against the mirror, and the child's interacting with this toothbrush, which in turn is interacting with the smart device, and it's all animated. We're going to learn more about that as we go through. But back to the story, it says here, Intel, which is aggressively pushing into emerging growth areas like the Internet of Things, boy, is that an understatement, last year announced it was teaming up with the creator of such reality TV shows as Survivor and Shark Tank to develop a television program in which teams compete to build the best connected device using the chip maker's Curie technology. That's Curie. Very clever, very smart, very interesting way to make technology exciting and interesting, and a smart idea to tap the shoulders of the creator of such things as Survivor and Shark Tank. These people know how to put on that kind of show, right?
Right.
So the story was posted on the 26th of May, so it says this week, so it's in that time period. Intel, TBS officials, and producer Mark Burnett, whose other shows, get this, other shows this guy's done include The Voice and The Apprentice, announced the winner of the inaugural season of America's Greatest Makers. A 3-person team led by a Boston-based pediatric dentist beat out 23 other teams with Grush, a connected, interactive digital toothbrush that uses virtual games to encourage children to learn how to best brush their teeth by making the experience more enjoyable. At the same time, parents can, now this is the part that's kind of sort of funny to me in a way. I'm not, making fun of it, but it's funny to me. It says, at the same time, parents can digitally track the brushing habits of their kids to ensure they're doing it correctly. Hey, Susie, my iPhone just told me you didn't get those back teeth. It's a little Big Brotherish to me, but in a funny kind of obsessive way. Yeah. I can see it now. My phone, I'm in a business meeting, my phone starts vibrating. Your son did not brush his teeth.
Ben would find this enormously creepy.
There's a little bit of that going on here. And I'm going to butcher this name. Anubha is the first name, Anubha, last name Sacheti, Sacheti. We'll just say a dentist and mother in the Boston area said in a statement, quote, "As a dentist, I have been committed to preventing tooth decay, a common chronic disease among children. As a mother, I wanted to help end the battle in the bathroom over brushing. This dream is now a reality as soon as Grush will be available. As soon Grush will be available in America." Also on the team were entrepreneur Ethan Schur, Schur, and inventor Young Ing, that's Yonging, last name Wang. Yeah. And it goes on to say, on the Grush website, and that's a fun website, and there's a pretty comical video there too. I'm not intended to be comical, but it was funny to me. And I'm not putting this thing down, folks. Don't get me wrong. It's just, there's kind of some funny things with it to me. On the Grush website, the company noted that the solution comes with the connected toothbrush. Everything must be connected today and wirelessly. Mm-hmm. Connected toothbrush that is used as a motion sensing game controller. That's kind of interesting. There are 3 Grush games that can run on a Google Android and Apple iOS devices and guide children through the brushing process, providing a score or Grush factor on the quality of brushing. Johnny, your Grush factor went down today. No food for you. The data is then sent to the cloud. Yes, everything must go to the cloud, where it is stored and that parents can access through a dashboard app to monitor their children's brushing. I love it. I can just see a soccer mom or dad in the bleachers pulling up their smartphone, tracking their kids' brushing habits. All the submissions that came into the show were pared down to 24 teams, and after those groups pitched their ideas, the field was further whittled down to 15 teams. Over 5 weeks, those teams competed for a place in the finals, a $100,000 development grant, and technology mentoring to help them bring their products to market. The final 5 teams competed in a 1-hour finale, with the Grush team winning the $1 million prize. How about that, huh? And there is a YouTube video. I've got the link in there, and it's pretty funny and clever and cute.
Who knew that brushing could pay off like that? All right.
Well, maybe, yeah. I mean, I think it's great. I think the intent is great. it tickled me because, it's got to be a wireless controller. It has to interact with your smartphone. It has to go up to the cloud. And the big brother saying, I could just see Ben. Ben, you're right. He'd be very disturbed. What do you mean you're going to know about my brushing habits?
Well, moving right along to story 12. Now we talk about all these self-driving cars, semi-autonomous cars. Well, evidently, they too have their own speed records, and evidently one of them hit a new speed record at an Indy track, right?
Yes, and this story has a really nice part to it that has kind of a great human interest angle beyond just this statistic or breaking this barrier, if you will. And again, it's semi-autonomous, not autonomous, semi-autonomous cars. This comes from Read Write, a story by David Curry. And here's the scoop. And again, Craig is showing you some of the information on the screen here. Aero Electronics, that's the company. Aero Electronics' second semi-autonomous race car, mind you, has broken another speed record, achieving 152 miles per hour at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Sunday. And in this case, it was May the 22nd. The story was posted a couple days later. Now here's the human interest part of it I thought was really cool. Former IndyCar driver and current team owner Sam Schmidt was in the driving seat of the modified 2016 Corvette Z06 during the Indianapolis 500, surpassing his previous record of 107 miles per hour in 2014. Now, here's the human interest part of this. Schmidt, the driver, Sam Schmidt, has been paralyzed since his racing accident way back in 2000, but found a new way to drive thanks to Aero's autonomous technology. So these semi-autonomous cars, the real meat to this story, the significance, because breaking a speed thing is fine and dandy, but wait a minute, we're talking about a guy who's paralyzed, and this is enabling him to drive because of this technology. That's the part that I loved about this story. So to go on with the story, it says the electronics firm, Aero Electronics, added specialized sensors that can follow the driver's head movement, letting them steer, accelerate, and brake. Let that sink in for a second. What a profound implication this has for disabled folks like this man, Sam. And you got the video going. That's so wonderful because it's trying to show you what's going on with him as a driver. Back to the story here. It says the company claims this is a way for disabled people to enjoy the experience of driving on the road without giving the computer full autonomy. So it's a hybrid, human, but human movement of the head and so forth. So if you could be paralyzed in your legs, maybe even paralyzed in one or more of or both of your arms and still drive. What? Wow, that's so cool. Aero has been building on what it's learned. Subhead in the story says, and it says here in a quote, it says, Aero's engineers incorporated insights learned from the previous model to build an advanced car design that incorporates cutting-edge Internet of Things technologies and live data streaming, among other exciting improvements, said Joe Verengia. I hope I'm saying that right. Verrengia, Aero's Global Director of Corporate Social Responsibility. We hope the SAM, semi-autonomous car, continues to inspire and drive technology innovation forward. Applause to these guys. While we wait for autonomous cars to become safe and legal, semi-autonomous features like head movement could be a smart way to tackle the challenge of disabled drivers. Can you imagine someone like this guy paralyzed, who probably, in other up to date in current history, driving for you would be a fantasy, right? Sorry, not for you. Wow. Can you imagine saying, wait a minute, now you can have a driving experience? I love that video. You can just see the smile on this man's face. It's just priceless. Reports suggested that we're going to see a large influx of disabled and elderly drivers once autonomous cars are available to the public. Now, some people could get snarky and say, oh my God, that's the last thing we need. But I think in terms of self-esteem and enablement and so forth. I couldn't think of anything better than this advance in technology. Now it finishes off, it says, to expedite the development process and get more developers on board, Arrow has made its car platform, wait for it, open source. Bravo, bravo. Engineers are able to add functionality to the platform or use it for their own projects. Hooray for these guys. Arrow Electronics. Wow. Salute.
There you
Really
go. Excellent. Okay. On that note, I'm going to kind of move. We're going to move our direction here toward those who have a passion. I mean, you have a passion for driving cars, all kinds of passions, passion for collecting or reading comic books. And I have to say, Amazon just kind of broke the mold. They have just introduced a brand new unlimited comic book service for $5.99.
Yeah.
$5.99.
Yeah. So the last story was pretty, deep and meaningful and so forth. So as they would say on television, and now on a lighter note.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So you're right. This is a story from Business Insider, a story by Matt Weinberger. As you said moments ago, Amazon just blew my mind. The headline says, Amazon just blew my mind with a new $5.99 unlimited comic book service. And now it's not all the comics, it's not all the big names, but it's a really interesting step in the right direction and really fun. So it's today, and this story was filed on May the 24th. Today, Amazon's Comixology app announced Comixology Unlimited, an all-you-can-eat buffet of digital comic books for $5.99 per month. So you can binge Netflix style. Now, that's a little ironic when you consider Amazon competes against Netflix with their Amazon Prime Video, but I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
They're right about binging.
Sure.
At the launch, Comixology Unlimited plan includes the first volumes of popular titles like The Walking Dead, Attack on Titan, Saga, Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 8, among many others. There's even a 30-day free trial, so you can try it on your phone or web browser. That's kind of fun. The Comixology spokesperson tells Business Insider that this is all about helping readers find an entry point into the medium, meaning comic books, with a focus on partnering with publishers to fill the service up with first volumes and introductory storylines. Comixology Unlimited is about giving the new reader the very best entry point, says Comixology's Chip Mosier. We'll be cycling through content periodically, so it's not just a fixed thing and static. It's going to be refreshed.
Right.
That means while it's unlikely that Comixology Unlimited will get the whole run of The Walking Dead, it'll constantly be refreshed with new hotness. The goal, it seems, is to provide a cheap way to give readers a taste of the next big thing in comics and then reel them in to pay for the next books in the series. So, but it's still an interesting development. I think it's a good step.
Yeah, it is.
And then it says, no matter how you slice it, this is a big, huge deal. The first volume of The Walking Dead, just for example, costs $9.99 on its own from the Comixology store. Getting it for $5.99 a month, plus access to all those other great comics, is an incredible value.
Yes, it is.
Now, here's who's involved. Participating comic book publishers include Image, Dark Horse, there's a big name, Dark Horse Comics, and Fantagraphics, all big names in the world of independent comic books. Now, absent from the list of participating publishers are Marvel and DC Comics, the two biggest names in comic books. But it goes on to say Marvel has its own separate digital unlimited app for $10 a month. And DC has yet to launch this kind of binge reading plan. So TBD for those guys. And, you could tell me, Craig, I don't know, to be honest with you, what a comic book costs to buy off the rack these days. So I don't have a way of understanding whether $5.99 a month is like a super amazing bargain. Because
it is. I mean, you can spend $10 on a single comic.
Really? Wow.
And of course,
Wow.
we're just assuming current when if you're talking about, if you miss a month or go back 2 or 3 months, there the
Yeah.
collecting issue comes into play, and you can spend a lot more.
Yeah. Wow. Well, see that makes me understand why that price point that they're talking about is so attractive, and the potential.
Yeah.
Perhaps they'll add more publishers. And again, they were saying Marvel has its own service now, which is pretty interesting. So it says, goes on to say, still, while big name superheroes like Spider-Man and Batman aren't included in this plan, Comixology Unlimited includes access to lots of independent titles that are more than worth your time. And it says, just off the top of my head, Lock and Key, Lumberjanes, and The Wicked and Divine are all incredible, and they're all included in the plan. So I always love these business models. I love these things when there's a breakthrough, and I love to see Amazon continue to try to spread out its interests and services, all leveraging, of course, the magnificent cloud platform those guys have.
All right, so there it is. So again, I mean, it is an incredible value, and it actually might open up a lot of comics that you might not have taken the time to read.
That's right. That's right. Like Dark Horse and all those guys. Yeah,
exactly. So those certainly are available. And again, now I don't know if we're running. I think we have time maybe to do one more. Let's talk about Microsoft's flashback technology that could give mobile virtual reality a huge upgrade. I think we have.
Yeah. This is an interesting trend story. Techno Buffalo's the outlet story by Jacob Kleinman. And here's the story, and great image there of the headset that Craig is showing you right now. It says Microsoft has been putting a big focus on augmented reality with the HoloLens headset, but the company is also cooking up some clever new virtual reality technology. And by the way, if you're not familiar with augmented reality, that means that it's a combination of seeing what's real in front of you, but augmented. It's a little hard to put into words, but it's really quite remarkable. So it says here, a recent paper published by Microsoft Research in conjunction with Rice University PhD student Kevin Booz details a system called Flashback that could bring high-end VR experiences to, wait for it, cheaper devices. That's why this story is significant. So again, Microsoft Research teaming up with Kevin Booz, a PhD student. Flashback's the name of the technology. The key here, it could bring high-end VR experiences to cheaper devices. So Flashback works by compressing detailed 3D environments and saving them to your device, where they won't take up very much space. Then, when you need a specific setting or object referred to as a mega frame, those files are automatically decompressed. Now, here's the deal. This removes the need to constantly render a VR environment, and also means you don't need a fancy graphics card to make it work. Ding, ding, ding. That's something to pay attention to. The result is almost like watching a 360-degree video on YouTube, just interactive. Flashback can render a large, fast-moving object like a car. It can even recreate massive environments like a basketball arena or an entire Viking village. Sign me up for that. I love that TV show Vikings on History Channel. The paper claims Flashback will deliver frame rates 8 times faster than a mobile device that's rendering locally. It could also reduce mobile VR latency and energy consumption by a factor of 15 and 97 respectively. Whoa. Flashback is still just a prototype, but it has the potential to revolutionize mobile VR. If Microsoft can get this technology to market, it could have an exciting competitor for Google Cardboard, Gear VR, and even Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive. So I just loved it from a trend story point of view. I thought it was really cool.
It is very cool. There's so many stories that we really didn't get a chance to go to and read, or display, but certainly you can see them. Head over to computeramerica.com, and you can check out about Whisper. And you can read about Microsoft and Facebook are building underwater transatlantic Maria data cable. There's a whole bunch of great stories. Grandma's friendly robot walker can help friends.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah, exactly. And also there was a video that showed a Tesla driver sleeping at the wheel while the autopilot was driving. I mean, there's great stories here, and you can see them all on Ralph Bond's cheat notes at computeramerica.com. Ralph, what are you up to these days? So we have about a minute.
Yeah. So again, I'll do another shameless Autodesk plug, but actually it's much bigger than Autodesk. I want everyone to Google this or search on your browser, U.S. Department of Transportation, the Federal Department of Transportation, Smart City Challenge, Smart City Challenge. Learn about this. We had a big milestone this week where the 7 finalists out of 78 mid-sized cities in the United States were challenged to come up with a vision for transforming their city into a smart city using technology, right? Mm-hmm. And out of the 78, pared down to 7 finalist cities. I'm proud to say Portland, Oregon was one of them. And on Thursday of this week, they were in Washington, D.C. and made their final pitches. And maybe a month or so from now, the U.S. Department of Transportation will announce the winning city. What's the Autodesk part of this equation? Autodesk has been helping all 7 of the finalist cities with technologies like our InfraWorks 360, which is an astonishing capability to take data, all kinds of data, LiDAR, photogrammetry, GIS data, merge it together, create 3D models of a city scale environment for early design and for showing design intent. So there's an Autodesk factor in there, and there's other technology companies involved, including Amazon and so on. Bill, check it out, Smart City Challenge.
Ralph Bond, again, with Autodesk, thank you so much for being with us here. Great stories. Please stay with us to the end. Coming up on Monday, Ben will be back with us. We're going to have MyDX. It's an analyzer and sensor that it's a simple, affordable personal analyzer that will detect chemicals that we cannot see that may be in your blood system or in your breath. I mean, it'll check for cannabis. It'll check for organics. They've got a whole bunch of them. We're going to have the company CEO joining us in the first hour. It's going to be a very interesting show. And then in the second hour, computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Thank you all for being with us here today. Have a great weekend, and Ben and I will see you here, same place, same station. So until tomorrow, Monday afternoon, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. Have a great weekend. We'll see you around. Bye, Ralph.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, and again, thanks to everybody for watching the show. And as I said, Ben will be with us Monday. Ralph, again, thank you so much for being with us here on our live video stream.
Always a joy.
And we'll see you next month. Okay, take care. Bye
Bye now.
Bye, everybody.